Florida Supreme Court certified mediator, family circuit and family mediator county as well. I'm also a primary trainer and qualified arbitrator. Something interesting just happened at mediation that I thought I'd have to share. It might be a little bit strange for those who mediate often and always, but I did something. I actually used the caucus session as it was meant to be used, which means sparingly and as a strategic manner and way to gather more information and speak with the parties and their advocates. So what I mean by that is this: after my orientation session, the comments that we make, remarks that we make about mediation and how we're going to facilitate the process for that day, little things like that, and then we turn it over to both sides. And usually it'll be the attorneys that speak on behalf of their clients. That's why they're hired. That's why they have advocates. So you have someone speak on their behalf to share information about how they see their case, how it's postured, how they're positioned. And what I always ask is something really interesting, like, I know you're going to tell me what your positions are, but how you got there, what does a case look like today? What are the challenges the other side has? What are the strengths that you have? And I've asked them both this after the end of their opening statement. What do they want to see to get out of the process today? And then I pause and wait, and they'll tell me. But here's the interesting part. After they told me what their best case scenario was and what they're looking for, which I wrote down in my notes, I said, from the challenges that I heard that you have, here's what I gathered. From the challenges I heard that you have, here's what I've gathered. What can we do to resolve that right now? Okay, can we have that conversation now? Like, give me 3 ways that you think it might be beneficial to resolve the case today. And they actually went along with me, and they proceeded to dialogue about best ways to resolve the case, best ways to not really litigate the case. And that's what most mediators kind of encourage. Let's litigate your case. Let's go through your contract. Let's see what the statute, the law, or whatever that they're traveling under says, and how can we dissect that? And here's why you should resolve, because here's what it's going to look like later on. That's just a technique that you can use. And you do that sometimes while you're in private spaces called breakout rooms or caucusing with one side and their advocate and the other side. And you're the person to jockey, go back and forth, sharing maybe horror stories of what will happen if they do not resolve. But what about sharing what can happen if they do resolve? For example, when the defense finishes giving their orientation or their opening statement, before they even do that, I might tell the other side, or I might tell the group, this is a very unique opportunity. Plaintiff, whether you're a sophisticated business person or not, whether you participate in mediation or not, this is and the only time that the other side will get an opportunity to speak to you directly, defense. This is the only time you're going to hear from the plaintiff directly or through their advocate about how they see their case, what brought them there, if you could do it in a controlled way, of course. But more importantly, what do they want to move forward? What do they want to resolve it today? So let's go through that. And I say that, and I've mentioned that more than one time. So I'm setting them up, not to just tell me what their legal arguments are, because they've provided me their pleadings. They provided me with confidential mediation summaries. But let's talk about what we can do to get it done. And I did not caucus. We rarely caucus. We did eventually, but it was maybe after 30, 20 more minutes of conversations and joint session as to how this case can be resolved. What phone calls, if a phone call needs to be made. The plaintiff gave our demand. Gave their demand up front. So we had their demand already. So now we have to work on what's the offer. And we were able to dialogue as to what can be done. So again, think about caucusing, not like it's what you do and what you have to do, but it's strategically placed in a tool that's used to give you some time with your client or the advocates with their client so they can have dialogue and strategize with you. And of course, the mediator is that voice box to show value in certain things. But far too often I'm hearing how mediations or mediators are immediately break into caucus, and from that point forward, that's all they do, or not even having joint session, but immediately going to caucus. So caucus is very valuable. You're gonna do it, of course. I'm only advocating maybe we can do it sparingly at first, have some more dialogue, elicit more information that as a mediator, if you know how to do it strategically, if you know different approaches to mediation, You can use it in a strategic way, not just to escape immediately to caucus and then be that go-between, be that mouthpiece. Telling you, there are better ways to caucus. There are better ways to negotiate. There are better ways to have parties and their advocates find their own solutions creatively if you have a better understanding on how to caucus. Okay, so with that, see you next time. Share this with someone if you think it might inspire them to look at things a little bit differently. Comment, send me some comments if you disagree or if you agree, and also subscribe. Let me know other questions you might have. I love the process of conflict resolution, whether it's arbitration, ombudsing, facilitation, negotiation, mediation, and the various others. So I love getting into dialogue and helping people through those issues. So let me know. See you next time, Stanley. Have a great holiday season and rest of your day.